Being born in America is like winning the lottery of life. In the United States, many Americans like to complain and bash our country right and left. Americans have become so entitled, do we even realize how lucky we are? We as Americans enjoy an abundance of freedoms and luxuries, yet have the audacity to complain about things many other countries can't even imagine having. The US is safe. We will never have to worry about the government barging into our homes or letting off bombs and or chemical weapons into our towns. Although the US talks about poverty, the country will never know true poverty, like the 1.3 billion people living on less than $1.25 a day. Americans can say what they'd like, dress how they'd like, and be whomever they'd like without being killed by their government for their choices.
One more.
The US is not perfect. In fact, it's far from it. But when we really look at it, the US is a spectacular country to live in, and this is why it is the most desired place for immigrants. Millions of people want to come here and live the American dream. The issue is the US can simply not let everyone in. When immigrants legally assimilate and advance in the US society, they renew our spirit, chase their dreams, and add to the unity of America. However, our southern border is a mess, with more and more illegal immigrants from Latin America endangering their lives to cross, and the government just had the longest shutdown in US history in regards to the wall. The US government holds immense power in deciding a policy to keep the country's best interest and safety in mind, while honoring the great tradition of the melting pot. We will provide the facts, and the viewers will formulate their own opinions to decide whether the US is using their political power to justly and efficiently cover the controversial issue of immigration. Here are the facts. The US has more immigrants than any country in the world. About 1 in 5 international immigrants live in the US. 11 million illegal immigrants currently live in the US. The Immigration and Naturalization Act, (INA), has a limit of 675,000 permanent immigrants, with certain omissions for close family members. Immigration from Mexico has declined in the past few years, and immigration from other areas such as the Northern Triangle has rose by 20%. Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador from the region known as the Northern Triangle. These areas are amongst the poorest and most dangerous countries in the world, and tens of thousands have arrived in the United States in the recent years, seeking asylum from the violence. Of the immigrants apprehended, only 46% of them were Mexican, with approximately 13% from Guatemala, 7% from Honduras, and 34% from El Salvador. This raises the question, if instead of putting money into border control, if the U.S. should instead be providing help to these struggling areas. There have been over 700,000 deaths from attempting to cross the southern border. Now, let's look into the most heated topic in regards to immigration from Latin America, to the U.S. border security, and more specifically, the wall. Border security in the U.S. is nothing new. The U.S. has had Border Patrol for the last 100 years to stop illegal immigration. The Secure Force Act of 2016 was a bill that authorized and partially funded the construction of 700 miles of fence along the Mexican border. What is interesting is that this was widely supported and passed 80-19, with both Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton voting in favor of this fence being built. As illegal immigration has increased at the southern border, some politicians believe that the current barrier isn't working and needs updating. The wall has its pros and cons. It would be very expensive and cost Americans billions. It would give the government the power to decide who enters the country. A border barrier separating the territories is nothing new to the world. There's a total of 20 completed border barriers in the world, 7 under construction, 1 planned, and 5 proposed. Each country has their own power to deal with immigration in different ways, and there's no perfect system. However, the U.S. should take different aspects of each system to better their own. The government holds political power to let people in or block people out. A mother in Honduras hoping to cross the U.S. border said, "If my country would be okay, I would not try to cross." Proving governments also hold the political power in form of responsibility to take care of their people. 3. For example, the Venezuelan government has failed to provide and are now struggling with 300 million Venezuelans leaving the country. For the people who are fortunate enough to be born in the U.S., this is not an issue. But does everyone deserve the right to experience the American dream? Is the U.S. making the right decisions to put their people first? Or as a powerful country, do we have a greater responsibility within the globe to let people in? The Statue of Liberty is a symbol of freedom and opportunity to millions. Are the current immigration policies honoring this symbol?